Hi, everyone. So this is going to be a very impromptu LinkedIn Live. Basically, the reason why I decided to do this is because I just, perusing Indeed for some business development, perusing a bunch of job descriptions for my next video, and I just saw this doozy. It's just a really, really nice one from a government organization. Of course, all my job descriptions remain anonymous. And, you know, I'm going to walk through it and give you my perspective as a CTO, give you my perspective as a candidate, give you my perspective as a technical recruiter. So let's get started. And if you miss any parts of it, this is recorded and it's going to be in the LinkedIn ether for basically forever. Okay. So what do we have here? So this is for now. This is very important. It's for a full stack developer role, which a lot of people and a lot of organizations have have misconstrued as a genius super developer that can do basically anything they want, right? And anything they need. So let's walk through this because this is for a government organization which has already has a big problem hiring talented individuals because government jobs are not that interesting, but they're really making it difficult with this job description. I highly doubt they're going to get anyone serious, right? Anyone with a real technical skill. Now, before I start, feel free to post comments. I can't comment back, but I'm going to see them pop up on my screen, and then I can answer. And I'll pause the video, answer the question, or not pause the video, but answer the question right away, and move forward. Okay, so comments, super welcome. All right. So I'm not going to be facing the camera because it's on my other screen. So, full stack developer. Provide ongoing support for systems and services with utmost regard to maintenance of data quality. Okay. There's a big focus on data quality in this job description. Obviously, I read it already. Full stack developer data quality. Do you mean what do you mean by data quality, first of all, right? And maintenance of data quality. I mean, sure, scrubbing the data before you're inserting into the database is kind of basic information, but it's kind of confusing a little bit. I won't lie to you. I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, why are we actually, why are you even mentioning this? If I were to rewrite this job description, I would completely remove this out. Done. Okay. Now, identify potential advantages in revising existing products and services and provide consulting support to clients and other internal staff in search of solutions. This is a full stack developer role. Why are they consulting or offering consulting support to their clients and other internal staff? Are people just going to show up to this full stack developer and start asking questions? Full stack developer role is an IC role. It's an individual contributor role. They write code. That's it. Yes, they find solutions, but they write code. That's all they do, right? Now, which is interesting here, provide support, provide a support service, decision support performance management within the CIO organization related to the use of and integration of information systems. Now we're dealing with integration. So full stack developer role now also deals with integration services, right? And integrations of different systems. Those are two completely different roles. While a full stack developer can deal with ETL and whatnot and data integration, that's not a full stack developer. That's a senior developer. And even then, I mean, it gets worse, right? Um, Integration of systems, that's a different skill set altogether. I feel like they need a tech lead. They don't need a developer, right? Especially in order to provide support services to advise, right? And there we go here. Provide advice, guidance, and ongoing assistance to these groups with respect to business planning, reporting practices, monitor and ensure compliance of such advice. What the heck is that? If I would see that, I'm like, okay, so now you're asking for a CTO in this case, right? Because business planning and business planning and reporting practices and monitoring compliance, meaning they're now responsible for other people doing their job properly. This is a full stack developer role. Honestly, I feel like they copy pasted this and they forgot about it, to be honest. They copy pasted this entire job description, and HR just said, you know what, let's just copy this. It sounds cool. We have no idea what it means, and we should just put it in every one of our job descriptions. But this is the kind of, pardon my crude language, there's a kind of BS that turns off candidates. They see this like, I don't want to, what is this? This is useless to me. What kind of work? I don't know what this. I don't know what to do with this. This is actually, I'm sorry, it's triggering. That was a trigger for me right there. Okay. Develop or modify application software to meet changing business needs or to accommodate strategic initiatives. Whatever. Yeah, that's okay. So you're a developer. Great. Okay, fine. Work with IT staff and external service providers to restore service after system outages and other incidents, promote upgrades and continuous improvements of applications. What the heck is this? I mean, so now they're DevOps and they're the SRE. And I'm guessing they're going to be on call because they have to work with IT staff and external service providers to bring something back up. And now this is for an energy organization, right? Like, so if a system goes down, it's pretty bad, right? So it's for a crown corporation in Canada. So that's pretty bad. Like I don't know what to do with this either, right? You know, it's cool for a full stack developer to be on call for a particular API or web application, right? But to start working with everybody and now to promote upgrades and continuous improvements to applications, it's their job to now say, hey, we need to raise the bar. Okay, you know. Now this is a nice one. Investigate and resolve integration issues such as data transfer problems between various applications and processes. So now they're data engineers. So the full stack developer, apart from being a consultant, apart from being a tech lead, is now also a data engineer. Nice. I hope this thing pays $500K a year because I'll do the job. You know, I'll close my practice and I'll do this job. Seems very simple. But I mean, that's too much, right? Data engineering in itself is a skill set, right? To know these systems, it's a skill set. It's not something you just do on the side, unless they're data engineering. Data engineering, right, is basically a cron job or just some sort of scheduled task. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? But I don't know. Investigate and resolve software issues caused by internet browser, not browsers, internet browser, right? I feel like this was written by my mother. Messaging, network, and other technologies. I don't know what this means. I feel like they have a lot of legacy software, but what does messaging mean? Could be, what's messaging? Could be email, could be live chat, could be, you know, could be AMQP messaging. Like, what is it? And network. So now the full stack developer also has to know network and advanced messaging architectures, I'm assuming, right? Fine. Internet browser issues, that's their job. This is what they do, right? This is, well, you're a developer, you're building web application, you're gonna solve it. Develop and manage applications running on Microsoft Azure, migrating older applications to Azure, modernizing them to use current software technology. This was written by my mother. I'm pretty sure she doesn't know anything about technology, huh? I like the use of current software technology. You're really dating yourself here, right? You're really saying that you have old stuff. And fair enough, you know, you got to migrate the application to Microsoft Azure, but you know, migrating to the cloud, just migrating to the cloud is like saying you should live. How? Where? There's so much nuance in this. Are you going to go serverless? Are you not going to go serverless? Are you going to containerize? Can you even containerize? Because if it's older applications, right? If it's older applications, some of them can't be containerized. If this is using .NET Framework 2.0, not .NET Core, .NET Framework, which as it seems, because this seems to be a Microsoft shop, you can't containerize this stuff. I'm pretty sure you can't containerize it. I think I tried once. I could be mistaken. I haven't looked at it in a while. So it's, now you have to develop and manage applications right now. Developing, I get it. Managing applications running. So full stack is data engineer and now also DevOps and SRE and cloud manager, whatever you want to call it, right? That's weird. That's weird. Provide consulting and technical support to business users or other CIO staff in the design, development, assurance testing, deployment, training, daily operation, lifecycle management of applications. Should also be able to cook 3 meals a day, know how to sweep the floors, heart surgery, brain surgery. You see where I'm going here? What the heck is this statement? I'm being facetious a little bit, but it's and I seem a bit aggravated because I am. What is this? Why is a full stack developer consulting to the CIO staff about every aspect of development? Now, I understand design, development. Now, design, is it software design or UI design? No idea. Who knows? It's design. Development, I get 100%. It's your job. You're a developer. Quality assurance testing, okay, fair enough, fine. But now you expect the full stack developer to advise on a checklist of an external QA. Are they going to do their own testing? I didn't see any automated testing requirements in this entire job description, but we'll get there. Deployment, okay, fine. Listen, full stack developers need to know how to deploy. That's not a big deal. Training, okay. Daily operations is a whole different ballgame here. Now you got to operate your system. And lifecycle management. That's a lot of stuff for one guy or gal, right? For one individual. It's too much. Provide insight and input to help us anticipate and manage changing demands caused by evolving technology and business needs. Okay, so there are astrologists also, not astrologists. Was it the people that tell you what the position of the planet and whatnot, and to try and predict your future? I don't remember what the name is of these charlatans, but provide insight and input to help us anticipate. So what's going to happen here? I can tell you what's going to happen here. I can tell you what's going to happen here. The developer is going to come up to the CIO. He's like, "Hey, I just saw a new great technology," and the CIO is like, "Yeah, let's do it." Is that what's needed? So this entire tech org is going to have an amalgamation of different systems, all interconnected together. Some are new, some are old. Maybe they're cool, maybe they're not. Some of open source. God knows what it is. Like just I don't know what this means. This is not a full stack developer's job. By the way, not a senior full stack. Was it? Yeah, it was just a full stack developer. At least give it a senior, Develop operational practices and procedures required for secure operation and management of systems and tools. So do the CIO's job, okay? Because now they have to develop the operational practices. Nice. Promote modern technology such as AI, machine learning, big data analytics, data lake, cloud computing in Azure for developing of new applications. So this full stack developer basically has to do everything, right? What is the CIO doing? I feel like they need a CTO as well, because the CIO doesn't seem to know their head from their bleep around actual engineering. And so they said, let's just hire a developer and they'll tell me what to do and then I'll take credit for it. I don't know, man. This is just because, you got to promote AI. So what happens in a meeting? What happens in a meeting? Hey, Mr. CIO, Mrs. CIO, we should use AI. Good initiative. Go do AI. That's it. Machine learning, big data analytics, right? So this is a subset, right? So now full stack developer, DevOps, SRE, data engineer, machine learning engineer, okay, right? Big data analytics, data analyst. I'm running out of fingers. 6, okay. Data lake, fine, data engineering. Cloud computing on Azure. Like that's a lot. This person's got to make $1 million a year. Honestly, at this point, it's five senior level jobs. Participate in work planning and execution in Azure DevOps. This includes creating and estimating Azure DevOps work items when needed, completing assigned tasks, and closing work items when appropriate. So I got a couple of problems with this statement here. First of all, you're asking them to estimate. Like we don't really estimate anymore. I mean, yeah, we do estimate, but modern development practices, you try to finish a task in about 40 hours, in about a week, right? And that means developing the code, committing, PR, testing, unit, integration testing, and deployment all within about a week. This is how we develop software in modern times. Right? Now, I don't expect a government organization to develop software, like it's 2024. It's more like in 1994, as it seems. But you're asking someone to also create and estimate the work items. So the full stack developer is supposed to create items, tasks, right? In the issue management system, which is Azure DevOps, pretty cool tool, by the way, right? It kind of integrates everything. Very similar to GitHub, not as simple to use though, right? Completing the assigned tasks that they assign to themselves, okay? And then closing them when appropriate. So I can guarantee you, if I were to do an audit of this organization, okay, the issue management system is going to have thousands of items in there without any description, just a title, and that's it. Fixed performance in API, done. Which API? What is it? Nothing. It's basically notes, because now anyone can just go in. Now, I'm all for developers writing their tickets, but there's got to be a specific way of doing so, right? There's a specific way of operating, and you got to work with your EM and so on and so forth to do so properly, right? Until you're senior and you're given the rights to do so. Identify and investigate opportunities to improve service or to reduce operational costs. So the full stack developer is also, CTO level, CTO grade. This is what a CTO would do normally, right? They would evaluate opportunities to improve our service and reduce the cost while developers are coding, while product managers are figuring out what it is that needs to be built and consulting with business. So as you can see, now we're at 7 jobs, right? And of course, other duties as required. Get coffee. I don't know. I really don't put this. If you're going to write a job description, don't put this. And actually, don't put any of this. If any of your job descriptions, if you're HR right now, if you're CIO right now, all of this, literally delete. Do not put any of this. This doesn't mean that I don't know what this is, right? Okay. Education. 4 years of university degree in business administration or computer science. I get to understand computer science, but why business administration? So what if they have business administration and they learned how to code, in a boot camp? Totally fine. You can be a great coder that way, and you keep improving yourself. But then you're also asking for all of this. I'm seeing a whole bunch of problems. I might contact the CIO and tell them, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. That could be a good biz dev opportunity. Who knows? Let's see. Okay. But also don't ask for university degrees. This is a full stack developer role, right? You ask for a university degree if they need to do engineering grade work, not development, right? There's software development, software engineering, 2 completely different worlds. That's the thing, right? So now in bold, the qualifications. That's good. It gets even nastier, by the way, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Requires a minimum of 6 years experience, and up to and including 8 years is considered necessary to gain this experience. So a minimum of 6 years, but up to 8 years. Like 6 to 8 years. 10 years, no. Less than 6 years, no. Right? Now, I know plenty of people who have worked at startups, their first job in a startups, and after 4 years could probably been exposed to all of the requirements, right? but specifically 6 to 8 years, which also tells me they have a salary cap, and they have those silly titles like software developer level 1, level 2, level 3, senior level 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, right? Because there's salary brackets. Government organization, you don't negotiate your salary. This is the role. This is what you get. Go away if you don't like it, right? But I like how it's highlighted, because if you have 10 years of experience, no. So this job, I can do this job if it paid enough, right? I could do this job, but I would be overqualified. Okay. Now, years of experience, seriously, just don't put years of experience. Just in general, no years of experience. They don't mean anything. Call it proficiency, call it real world experience in data engineering, or let's say you need to do data engineering, so state real world experience in building data pipelines that process 1 million records an hour. Give it actual information, because that person may have had that experience working at OpenAI or whoever else for a year, been exposed to this, can do the job, right? But they will be automatically filtered out. And then let me guess, they're going to complain why nobody wants to work. They're going to complain why they're not getting any resumes, or they're getting just bad resumes. So the kinds of candidates who are going to apply for this, I can tell you right away, are going to think that the job description is complete BS, right? Complete BS. And they're just going to apply. So this is the kind of job descriptions I've received: 500, 600, 1,000 job applications, right? Applicants, candidates, whatever you want to call it. Because they're not taking it seriously, because they know already this is BS. I need to actually speak to someone on the phone. Now, here's the problem. HR is going to use these requirements as a pre-screen. Boom. These requirements as a pre-screen. Anyone with more than 8 years, filtered out. ATS, they're just going to go in their ATS. More than 8 years, delete. Less than 6 years, delete. Good. Now I have those, the 2-year margin, which is a very weird like range. But anyways, right? They're going to filter them out. And then they're going to take a look at all the technologies. Hey, do you have AI experience, Mr. or Mrs. that, develop full stack developer with 6 years or 7 years of experience? No, you don't. I'm sorry. That's what we're looking for, right? You see the problem here? Okay, so let's keep going. Experience working in a highly regulated industry would be considered an asset. Which highly regulated industry? Now, this is the energy industry. That's fine. Okay. But, the energy industry, the healthcare industry, the finance industry, they're all very regulated in their own right, in their own very special way. So, what experience? Specify, right? Strong strategic and external focus to identify and analyze critical business issues. That's not a full stack developer's job. A full stack developer does not analyze critical business issues. Product manager does that. The CTO does that. The director, VP, whatever. What are the executives doing exactly, right? And why are you asking someone with 6 to 8 years of experience to have strong strategic and external focus? This is, this year range is still wearing diapers in the software development realm. You're still brand new to this world, right? Depending on who you worked for, of course. So again, it sounds good. And I feel like they're almost writing a job description for themselves to make themselves feel good. It's like, yeah. And you know what we need? What? Strong strategic and external focus. Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, that looks like yeah. My boss is going to like this job description. I'm going to kick ass and take names, right? Yeah, no, don't do that. Experience with various analytic techniques, analysis practices, methods to effectively integrate information from a number of sources and business perspectives. So it's really data engineering focus. I'm starting to wonder whether they need a full stack developer or not. Maybe they need a data engineer and they just don't know that that's the role. Okay, fine. So we are looking for an experienced IT professional with expertise in the following areas. Whew. All right, let's do this. Programming proficiency in Angular, front-end developer, by the way, right here, single page application developer, C# backend, .NET is a framework. It's not a language. So you should say just C#. Okay. Python as well. If, just in case they had too much Microsoft, they also have now Python and Java. Okay. And JavaScript. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, fine. Angular and JavaScript is fine, but Java, C#, .NET, that's a lot of languages. How many applications are they going to be maintaining? I mean, it's a little much. Not impossible. Sure, you can have that, but I mean, 6 to 8 years of experience, you're not going to get all of this in 6 to 8 years of experience unless you worked partly at a startup, so Angular, JavaScript, Python, and you also work partly a couple of years in a more enterprisey organization, C# and .NET. I love .NET. I think startups should all use .NET, frankly, because I think it's a fantastic language, personally and professionally. But fair enough. But C# and .NET is more of a Microsoft and enterprise type environment. So you're asking for someone in two massive ranges of experience. Java, in North America, Java is not that popular. In Europe, it's all about Java, right? But in North America, it's not that popular. You can still find them. There's plenty, right? I take that back. Application development experience with MS SQL or other relational databases. Okay, fine. Nothing too crazy. Solid understanding of computer operating systems. Yeah. What does that mean? Does that mean you know how to update your Windows, like apply a patch? Networks. So now networking, TCP/IP. I think they just threw that in there, right? Firewalls, routers, and proxies. Now, listen, I know my way around firewalls. I know my way around some routing, and I've been in the business for 20 years, right? I know my way around TCP/IP as far as it needs to take me, right? HTTP and so on and so forth, and some basic connectivity. But I mean, is that what you're asking for? I don't know. Proficiency using integrated development environments such as MS Visual Studio or Eclipse. So you have either .NET or Java, right? I feel like maybe they should have split the job description into two. One is a .NET full stack, one is a Java full stack, right? Because MS Visual Studio and Eclipse are two completely different worlds, right? They're two completely different tools and two completely different for the different languages entirely. To develop and troubleshoot applications. And by the way, they had a misspelling. And by all of these here are, it's grammatical errors. I didn't fix the grammatical errors in thank you Grammarly by the way. Totally worth, go for it. Buy the Pro. It's worth it. To develop and troubleshoot applications. Okay, fair enough. So I feel like what this is telling me is there's some Java issues. You're going to have to go and troubleshoot Java today, .NET tomorrow. Seems kind of fun, but, I'm not entirely sure. Experience managing software using industry standards practices like Git, source control, and continuous integration and deployment. Yet you have old systems that need to be migrated. Okay, fine. Just as a point, you don't need to mention Git experience. Okay? Stop mentioning Git experience, because that's like breathing. If you don't have Git experience, how are you even developing? You need to have, it's like a basic thing. Do you know how to use a keyboard? Do you know how to use Git? It's not complicated. There's like 4 commands. You don't need proficiency. You don't need experience in Git. Sure, you need some experience in continuous integration and deployment, but we're talking about like 5 minutes. You saw a video about, on Circle CI or whatever it is, or use Azure DevOps University. Azure University is fantastic. They have a lot of content, a lot of videos. Heck, I think Azure will even give you 6 months of I'm blanking out on the education platform. But anyways, right? It's weird. Okay. Working experience with Azure DevOps, PowerShell scripting, Azure architecture. What's Azure architecture? Is that like serverless? Whatever. ARM templates, no idea what that is. Azure DevOps pipelines, and experience with in Databricks is an asset. So it's really this seems to be very much a data engineering role, but PowerShell scripting. Okay, fair enough. I guess Azure DevOps maybe uses PowerShell. Frankly, I've never used Azure DevOps pipelines. I've used Azure DevOps, but not the pipelines itself, right? It's too tightly integrated to Visual Studio. It's not my thing, personally. Great tool if you're pure .NET Microsoft environment and you push to Azure, but still, it's a little too tight for me. I don't like being so tightly coupled with any organization as much as I like Microsoft. But experience in Databricks is an asset. That's a lot. Okay. Working experience with automated unit testing is highly desirable, not required. Desirable. Okay. Working knowledge of ITIL concepts. Now, I tried to get my ITIL certification, and I quit like halfway through. It was the most ridiculous thing. Very old school way of delivering IT services, and it's not really for developers as much as it's for IT, right? Some IT or orgs will, I hate to use IT orgs, but some IT orgs will implement ITIL concepts for IT service delivery management, but it's not a developer's job. Developer's job is not the IT people are going to tell them, here's the policy, thank you very much, have a good day. Remove this stuff, right? Remove this stuff. It's not, basically remove anything from your job description that can be an email that is sent by IT or by any other organization within your company that tells them what the policy is. If it's a policy, they'll follow it. That's it, right? Ability to work effectively and efficiently in a flexible hybrid office environment. I don't know what that means. I guess working part remote, sure. Knowledge of the principles, computing equipment methods, systems analysis, design, network communication, programming, assess, recommend additions, modifications, requirements, and of existing systems. Garbage. Don't put like this. Don't make your job description more complicated than it needs to be. It just does, like, you don't need to be, it doesn't need to be this complicated. It doesn't. Stop it. Knowledge of computer science to gain an appreciation of design concepts related to computing equipment, software, in order to provide computerized solutions. So they copy this straight from the 1990s. But I like the knowledge of computer science to gain appreciation for design concepts. What is knowledge of computer science exactly? Like, what is it? Can you explain to me what, if I were to rip them a new one right now, I would get on a phone call and be like, can you explain to me what knowledge of computer science is exactly? I don't know. Makes no sense. Requirements. We're not done. This is still the same job description, right? And then we got another one I'm going to blast through because I've got to go. Experience with encompassing business performance, blah, project planning, blah, 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 reporting and related information system, whatever. Strong writing and communication skills to liaise with clients, including relevant business and computer application knowledge to develop, manage portfolios, and work on project teams. You're tech lead. You're a team lead also. Experience with complex design, architecture, development, implementation, and support of, okay, whatever. Ridiculous. Experience in project management and long-range planning. For a full stack developer, long range planning, right? You got to plan everything. You got to plan the whole system. They're asking for an entire engineering team here, folks. This is what they're asking for. More planning, experience with plan. I have a feeling that the company has a lot of problems with planning because they're focusing on that. And these problems in planning are causing delivery issues, and they think that asking for more planning is going to solve their delivery issues instead of solving the delivery issues themselves. It's like applying a band-aid to a bullet wound, right? Yeah, it's not going to help your it's not going to help anything. It's not going to help your problems. But carrying on. Okay, this is a quick one, right? But this one also made me fun. Made me giggle. Made me fun. Made me giggle. Senior full stack developer again. So development in web applications and services in .NET Framework, C#, ASP.NET, and .NET Core. Do they know that .NET Core and ASP.NET are two completely different worlds, right? And now, while yes, you can mix and match, I actually find it actually very difficult to mix and match the two, because .NET Core is not a drastic, split away from ASP.NET, but it is. It's actually pretty. It's pretty different, right? You can work on it, but .NET Core and ASP.NET are two different worlds. Collaborate with cross-functional teams, including product managers, UI UX designers, to gather and translate requirements into technical specifications and solutions. Totally fine. You can totally ask that. There's no issues, right? Design and implement responsive and user-friendly web interfaces using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, front-end frameworks such as Blazor. Okay. Again, it's a .NET shop. Totally fine. There's no issues here. Front-end frameworks, and I like how they're not specifying the framework, which is good, because you know what? If you know React, you also know Angular. It'll take you 2 days to figure it out, 2 hours to figure out how it's built and how it runs and how to debug it and whatnot. It's not that complicated, especially if you already have the code there in place. What a lot of companies fail to realize, right, is that if a new developer joins a company, they get access to the source code. They can see the source code. They can see the Python and PHP and .NET and this and that. They can see it all function. The amount of knowledge that streams into their brain, right, that streams into their brain and allows for, how can I say, for very, very rapid onboarding is understated, right? You got to realize this. Once someone comes in, they see how you do things. You don't need to mention half those things. Oh, you messaging with RabbitMQ? They see it. Oh, I just got it. I understand how it is. I read for like a minute on the RabbitMQ site. I watch a YouTube video. There's always a YouTube video with some guy explaining something. I got it. That's it. You're done. You're finished, right? Ask for requirements that require training, right? That require years of training. And nothing in technology requires years of training short of machine learning, data science. They require a few years of training for sure, right? lead or a senior full stack lead. Data and integration efforts, including designing and implementing data pipelines, ETL process, data synchronization between systems. I get it. Every developer is going to do a little bit here and there. It's fine. It's okay. But lead the data integration efforts. It's a full stack developer. At the very least, there's a tech lead somewhere that's going to own this. What this job description tells me is that there is no owner. There's no owner of the data integration and ETL process and so on and so forth. No one owns it. No one's responsible for it. So all developers are responsible for it, right? Randomly. Okay, so work with relational databases, SQL Server for data storage and retrieval. This has been written by HR, right there and then. This has been written by HR, right there and then, because no one talks about data storage and retrieval. It's very old school way. I feel like it's almost a ChatGPT like job description. Integrate third-party APIs and libraries when necessary, enhance application, blah, 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 and data confine, whatever. It's a job. Debug test, again, you don't need to mention this. Debug test and troubleshoot software defects, performance issues, data integration problems, ensure high quality and reliability. You don't need to mention this. Remove this. Optimize applications for maximum speed, efficiency, and data transfer. What does this mean? But okay, fine. For maximum speed, we don't really deal in software. We don't really deal in kilometers per hour or miles per hour for our American friends that are listening. So maximum speed doesn't mean anything. We talk about throughput. We talk about requests per second. We talk about whatever it is messages processed per second, and so on and so forth. So for maximum speed, okay, because that could be a hardware problem, right? Efficiency, whatever that means. Data transfer, again. Compression? Again, remove this. This is BS and garbage, right? And one of the listeners said, I'm a recruiter and I struggle with bad HR job descriptions for clients. Yeah, this is why I do my own. That's why I write my own job descriptions, right? When I do technical recruiting, I don't let the client write the job descriptions. I have to do it. So the senior full stack developer also has to stay up to date with emerging Microsoft technologies, data integration techniques, industry best practices, sharing knowledge with the team. So it's got to teach people. Listen, you're a senior, you got to teach, you got to mentor, you got to coach. That's fine. But it's kind of getting into the tech lead. Listen, I accept this. Stay up to date. Not everybody can stay up to date. Not everybody has the time. Some, what if they have 3 children at home? You think they have time to go in and start researching at home? No. So I don't know. This, by the way, I know it seems very innocent. I know it seems like a very innocent statement, but I consider this aggressive. This is what I mean by aggressive statements in a job description. You got a single parent who's a developer. He's gonna read this. They're like, man, but I'm like, I'm a single parent. Like, now I have to also do all of this. Like, I'm not gonna apply to this. And people then ask themselves, oh, diversity and so on and so forth. This is the kind of stuff that turns people off your job description, and then you end up getting a very specific set of individuals, right? You have a monoculture almost, dare I say, even though it seems innocent, it is not. Collaborate with other developers, participate in code reviews, code quality, adherence to coding standards. You don't need to mention this either. Of course, if there's coding stuff, that's part of the job. It's like saying, must show up to work every day. There you go. There's something that you needed to mention, right? Willing to learn other backend programming technologies to support company initiatives. Sure. Don't need to mention that. Not in the job description. You can mention it in the interview. Hey, by the way, you're cool with learning new stuff? Yeah, I love learning new stuff. Excellent. That's it. Done. You don't need to, because again, this is aggressive. It's telling me, oh man, like they're gonna expect me to learn stuff, eh? Maybe I don't have time. Maybe I have 6 kids at home. Maybe I have 3 kids at home. Maybe I have other issues. Maybe I've got a sick spouse. I don't have time to do this. I'm not going to apply to this job. I'm not going to get it anyways, even though I might be perfect for the job. Something to keep in mind, right? Your candidates are humans, okay? They're not robots that show up and they can do your bidding forever. Provide technical support, resolve issues reported by users and stakeholders. I don't like the technical support aspect, but I get it. Right? Yeah, there's an issue. You go in, you resolve it, you investigate it. It's totally fine in a startup, especially. You can do that. But if you mention this, you're telling me already that the job is going to require all of this. That the job is going to require technical support, and I'm going to get a lot of emails. Don't mention it here. Why turn people off? Maybe somebody just wants to code and be left alone. Maybe they're just a 9-to-5. They don't want to do this. So now, should it be in the job description? Debatable. I think it should not. I think you should not be mentioning things like this. This is part of a conversation because there's a lot of nuance that's lost in this, right? What does technical support mean? Is it at night? I have no idea. Who knows? Contribute to planning and execution of continuous integrations, deployment, blah, 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 CI/CD pipeline. Okay, totally fine. Okay, the actual technical requirements now. So strong experience in C#, Java, JavaScript, CSS, Blazor, ASP.NET is a must here, right? But I like how Blazor is in there and Java also. Where'd Java come from? They just shoved in Java because it wasn't enough? Was there not enough technologies in here, right? Proficiency, I mean, they missed HTML. So, did they mention HTML? They mentioned it over here, but not here. So, no HTML. Proficiency with database systems, okay. SQL Server and MySQL, but TSQL is a must. Now, TSQL is an SQL Server concept, okay? Transact SQL. It's not a MySQL thing. MySQL uses a different concept, right? Very standard. But if you say that you need proficiency in SQL Server and MySQL or MySQL, but also must have TSQL, what you're actually saying is you must have SQL Server experience. Again, this was not written by a technologist. This was not written by a CTO. This was written guaranteed by HR. They just started shoving things in and Googling it or copy pasting. IIS. So IIS is really old school and very much is incompatible with continuous deployment pipelines. Okay. So this is for maintenance. A developer doesn't need to know this. It's simple. It's a very simple. Launch a website is not that complicated on IIS, but we haven't used IIS in deployment in what, 10 years at this point? I mean, it still exists for old school systems, yes. For legacy systems, they're still live and whatnot. Must you know IIS? Because you're asking here for how many years of experience are they asking? Oh, they're not asking for years of experience. So I actually have some respect for them. Okay. Anyways, and is it a must? I don't know about that. Shouldn't be a must. Not if you're asking for new tech and old tech together. It's incompatible. Right from the get, it's incompatible. I would see this, I'm like, Blazor, but IIS, what the is going on? And Java, what's going on? Okay. Strong experience with API and web service development is a must. Experience with Azure is a must. Why is experience with Azure a must? Why? Are they asking for anything else from Azure? No. Why is experience with a particular cloud offering a must? Why is it a must? It shouldn't be. Every cloud is basically the same. You click, you do, you deploy. They've made it dummy proof effectively. You don't need experience with Azure with a must. Experience with TFS, DevOps, open source control. Okay, fine. I used to be a fan of TFS, but I use Git now. It's been at least a decade that I use Git. Here's the problem. Okay. TFS is a very specific technology, but it's source control. Okay. And so having experience with source control, great, excellent. You do that. You have experience with source control. However, do you need experience with TFS? Because the concept of branching and merging is all the same. Except with TFS, it will take you 6 years to do that because it's not based on a diff. It's based on literal full copies of the code for every branch and all the changes and so on and so forth. Before you know it, you need a terabyte of space if you're going to use TFS, right? But what's DevOps source control? I don't know what that means. Maybe Azure DevOps source control, right? They just removed Azure for whatever reason. Or this was written by some tech or some dev, and they just started putting things in. Solid understanding of software development principles and best practices. Okay. Again, you still don't really need to mention that. Ability to work independently as well as collaboratively in a team. Don't need to mention that either, right? I mean, if you don't have the ability to work independently, does that mean that someone has to hold your hand the entire time? Because you're also asking for a metric ton of requirements that assumes that the person is actually pretty decent. Interesting. I like this, but as well as collaboratively in a team environment. Okay, so don't be mean, but again, don't mention this. Strong problem-solving skills and attention to detail. Stop. No. If you're a developer, you have to have attention to detail because code is detail. Otherwise, this is not really for you, right? Okay. Ooh, I like this one. It's a nice one. Amazon Web Services experience. Nice to have for Amazon Web Services, specifically Amazon Web Services experience. Okay. Stop mentioning a specific vendor, a specific product. All web services are the same. If the person has Amazon Web Services, I like that, not APIs, Web Services experience, maybe they mean Amazon AWS, experience, but then they said Azure is a must. I don't know, but I feel like it's actually Amazon Web Service experience. I don't know. I don't remember what the company name and what they do is, what they do. So I can't. So there's the context that's lacking in this case. But if you ask for a specific vendor or specific API from a specific company, that's stupid. Straight up, that's dumb. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Even if it's a nice to have. I like how nice to have, but you're still going to be evaluated on it, right? Because all APIs and all web services are basically the same. They all follow the same protocol. And even if they've never touched, gRPC or whatever, or REST. I mean, everyone's touched REST at this point, but even if they've never touched that particular protocol of web services, they can learn in about 10 minutes. Because guess what? The code exists in your systems, like in your source code. The code is there. They'll see, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, now I know. Done. That's it. They've learned. Same with ERP integration experience, right? Same thing. Right? Why ERP integration experience? Even though it's a nice to have. I know you said nice to have, but I know that HR is going to evaluate them and is going to score them based on that. Is going to add some points and decide whether this person should actually make it through or not. I'm just saying, that's not cool. So, ERP integration is no different than a database integration. It's no different than another API integration. It's no different than any other integrations anywhere else in the world. It's just another system. That's it, right? Writing communication protocols. What the heck is that? Writing communication protocols. But also it's a nice to have. I feel like they have very, very custom TCP IP based integrations, and now you have to write the message protocol yourself, right? It's a very advanced thing. Like writing communication pro is not a senior full stack development, it's engineering, but you can still do it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You serialize, you push it down the pipeline, you deserialize, done. It's not that complicated unless you're dealing with hardware and firmware and whatnot. It's, yeah, I don't know what you're saying here. MSMQ, old school, right? Message queuing, Microsoft service, blah, 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 message queue. Very, very old school, right? Very much between Windows systems, very incompatible with Azure, very incompatible with the cloud, right? So that's it. That's what I've got. So let me just remove this for a second. Your job description is your business card. It's the first impression that a candidate will have with your company. Okay? That's what it is. It's the first impression that a candidate will have with your company. And because of that, how you write it should be devoid of ego. These two job descriptions that I went through is all ego. It's all very, very aggressive, right? Very aggressive. Oh, you're going to provide support and you're going to lead and you're going to do this and you're going to do all these things, right? I was highlighting something on the screen. I forgot I removed it. Sorry. And it turns people off. How can I say this? Your job description should have at most 4 or 5 technical requirements, tops, right? Like these 2 technical requirements were conflicting with each other. We want the cloud, but you also MSMQ. We want this, but also that. You don't need experience in all of this. You may need exposure, but even then, don't limit your candidates to this, right? The last one could have been just experience with .NET, experience with Blazor, experience with this, done. That's it. 3 items. We're finished. You don't need to mention everything, right? If the person doesn't have attention to detail, you're going to see them come to the interview with a stain on their shirt. You're going to see it in the technical assessment because someone is going to say, oh, yeah, sorry. HR is going to ask, do you have attention to detail? Yes, I do. I have attention to detail. Okay, good. Check. Do you have this? Yes, I do. Check. Oh, wow, you're a good candidate. I'm going to pass you through. Right? That's the thing. So, sorry, my nose is itchy. So let me leave you with this. Okay? A job description is not the embodiment of your ego. Okay? That's not what it is. A job description is to try and attract and convince a candidate to apply. Not try to convince them not to apply by putting everything under the sun, thinking that a candidate actually read all of this, by the way. You're assuming a candidate read all of this? No. So you're going to get a whole bunch of candidates that are not relevant for the role, wasting your time, wasting everybody's time. And then you go up on LinkedIn and you complain why, hey, we can't find developers anywhere. There's no developers. Nobody wants to work anymore, or whatever, right? There's not enough developers in the industry. So you listen to all of this, right? You listen to all of this. Now I'm going to tell you about my service because I have you in front of me. Give me 2 minutes, please. I'm building my business. I'm trying to spin up my practice. So I'm a fractional CTO. I've been doing this for 20 years. Not fractional CTO. I've been in development for 20 plus years. I also do technical recruiting, and the way I do technical recruiting is very different from everybody else. Okay. Most recruiters out there, sorry, other recruiters, if you're listening to this, but it's true. They don't know much about technology. They're apart from acronyms. They don't know much about software engineering. They're not trained in this. This is not their field, right? How can they evaluate a candidate properly? So what I do is, and I have other fractional CTOs that work with me because I can't do everything myself. Apart from what job descriptions think that you should be able to do everything yourself as one person, but I digress. So what I do is, as a CTO, as a person who's built large teams, small teams at startups, at enterprise organizations, all over the place, right? What I do first is I don't meet with HR or whoever's hiring the technical recruiter. I want to meet with the engineering team. Number one, I meet with the engineering team, me or one of my colleagues who are also minimum red corner fractional CTOs must have minimum 20 years of experience or relevant experience. There you dazzle me. That's less than 20 years, but you got to be like at the top of your game. You're like the it stuff. That's it. Now, one of my CTOs or myself want to meet with the engineering team. Why? We need to see team composition, the cultures, who's part of this team that's hiring, tech stack from the developer, not the CTO or the CIO that's 3 times removed from the engineering team. As long as it's a startup, then the CTO is intimately involved. That's a different ballgame, right? What are the technical challenges that they're going through right now? What are the future technical challenges you? Oh, are you planning a major migration of your system to this in 6 months, a year? Good. I need to pay attention when I'm looking for a candidate for you specifically, right? That's what I need to do. And then I grill them. Who do you actually need? You're saying full stack, but you're telling me senior developer, but you're also telling me data engineer. I think you need 2 different people. I advise them, and that's free advice. I haven't been paid for it yet, right? I sit with the engineering team sometimes for 1 hour to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours if they have the time, right? And we talk and we really strategize. Even though they think they know what they want, a lot of times they do know what they want, but I help and I advise. Now, after I do this, my company will write the job description. You don't get to write your job description. I write the job description and then I send it to you for validation, approval. Give me your check mark. We put very specific stuff in the job description, like why is this job good for your career? That's what candidates want to know, right? Is this going to level me up as an engineer, or is this going to just keep me on the same path? Is it going to be challenging, or is it going to be a nice chill job? Hey, can't always have a challenging job, a hard job, a tough job, all of that stuff. Can't always have that, right? Some people just, they want to come in, they want to do their work, and they want to chill, and that's it. Totally fine. In my teams, you always needed, your soldiers, your 9 to 5ers, the people that actually just do the work. So that's what I want to know. That's the kind of information I want to know. Now, based on the technical challenges and so on and so forth, okay, on the spot, we're going to come up with a technical assessment challenge. Okay, because when I do technical recruiting, all interested candidates go through a technical assessment. I do not send you a candidate if I don't know that they, if unless I know they can do the job. That's it. From a 20-year veteran, I've got other people that are 30-year veterans that might evaluate them, right? If we don't know that they can do the job, you don't get the candidate. We're not just gonna spitball a resume after we're speaking to them for 15 minutes on a screening call. Are you human? Yeah. You're alive? Yeah. Okay, good. Here's a resume. Done. Give me my fee. That's not how we do things at all. The reason why I do it this way is because I hated hiring technical recruiters back when I was a hiring manager, because it wasn't worth the money. So after doing all of this and writing a technical assessment with the team, by the way, our technical assessments are never coding tests. They're only solution design tests, right? Verbal. I want you to communicate with me, talk to me, right? Design a solution with me. Let's get on a whiteboard, design the solution. I don't want you to solve an algorithm on a whiteboard. I want you to put together a system. I want to see and evaluate your depth of knowledge, not specific items that you can Google, right? How much do you know and how deep does it go will inform me whether you can actually Google properly. Because then you know enough, okay, you know the challenges, okay, you're good enough. If I have confidence and I'm willing to hire you for my team of developers, then we can do that. Then I recommend you. Now, here's the fun part. The technical interview that we do, we record, we transcribe, and we annotate. Okay. Hey, pay attention to this part. Hey, this is an interesting bit. This is a very interesting portion of the interview. You want to pay attention to this answer. Okay. One of our clients actually said, it's like, I would cook and I would clean and I would go for a run while listening to the technical interview. I felt like I knew the candidate. This is what we were told of our service, which I didn't realize would be the case, right? It's one of those things like, hey, I have a service and I expect people to like sit down at their office and pay attention to it, but they got a recording, it's in their email. They pop their earbuds, they're cooking dinner for their kids, and they're listening to the interview, and they're fast forwarding as they need to. Right? Now, in this technical assessment, the CTO, the fractional CTO from Red Corner, challenges the candidate. It's not a answer, it's not a question answer situation. We challenge the candidate. Why would you design it this way, not that way? Why would you do it this way? Why not do it this way? Hey, why didn't you think about this aspect? And we're going to throw some curveballs at it. Oh, now your system is now your solution has 1 million, visitors a month or a day, whatever it is, right? How does your solution now adapt? Oh, yeah, okay, I would do this. And how they think, and even the first things that they say as part of the technical solution and how they approach the problem informs me of their skill level and informs me whether they're good for that team or not. I'll have candidates that start with the data modeling. I'll have candidates that start with the development, with the architecture. I'll have candidates that start with code. Okay, great. Like we're gonna build my APIs this way and that way and so on and so forth, right? And so, and so that's why the technical assessment is so important at our level. So by the time the CTO or the hiring manager gets a candidate, they've been pre-vetted live. We don't do pre-recorded anything, right? We don't do a video and then they have to answer to a video. I tried that once, didn't work very well. There's no connection with the candidate. Call me crazy. I like a connection with the candidate. So that's what we do. How we price it is very, very simple as well. We do a flat fee. That's it. Commission-based, 20, 30%, even though we should charge because our service is better than every other technical recruiter on the planet. And I'm not kidding. I have yet to meet a technical recruiting organization that can do what we do and how we do it. We charge less than everybody else. We charge relative to the value we provide that I believe is valuable. So we charge a flat $20,000 per candidate. That's it. It could be I'm hiring you a CTO. Could be I'm hiring you a tech lead at 180 or 200K or whatever it is. Boom. That's it. If you want to hire 3-4 developers all at once for the same role, let's say you're staffing an entire team, we do a package deal because it's not that much more work for us to interview just a few more people. So that's how we do it. That's how we're trying to change the game in technical recruiting. If any technical recruiter saw this and it's like, yeah, I want to offer this, we can partner and we can do that with you and we can offer that service through you as well, right? If any HR or CTO is listening to this, or even developers, right, are listening to this, recommend this to your boss. Go for it. Recommend it because we do a better job than everybody else, right? 95%, something ridiculous like that, of our candidates get hired. Our batting average is really high, and we send typically 3 to 5 candidates at any given moment. So, for any role. So that's it. Thank you very much for spending the last hour with me. I hope this was informative. If you want me to read your job description and rip it to shreds in private, message me. Go for it. I'd rather see clean job descriptions and give a little bit of time to the community to do that. Of course, I do that also as part of my business. All right. So until next time, have a great day. Thank you very much for your time. Bye, everyone. And where's my mouse? There it is.